Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? I hope you all are having a wonderful and fantastic day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today, I wanted us to have a discussion about Oscar and the issues with his character. There are a few things that I think Oscar has that are problems, and I think that really need to be worked out. So I really just kind of wanted to have a discussion about that. So sit back, relax, I hope you all enjoy, and let's go ahead and jump right on into this discussion. So when looking at Oscar, there is actually, to me, an issue with his character. And maybe some of you have seen this, and maybe some of you haven't. But I think the real big issue with Oscar is that his character doesn't really feel like much. It really feels like he is a bland guy who doesn't really have much going on for him. And because of this, I find him to be an issue as a character. Now, what this means is he's someone that people may not like or may not even care for because he's not relatable. He doesn't have anything specifically going for him that makes him stand out. There's not really something that makes you want to look at this guy and go, oh yeah, I really like Oscar, he's a cool guy, because he doesn't have really anything to go by. And I find this to be a big issue when it comes to Oscar, because anytime there's a character in a series, you want to make them very enjoyable. You want to make them have a appearance that may stand out, or a personality that makes them stand out, a goal that makes them stand out, something to this effect. When Oscar doesn't seem to have these things really going for him, other than originally he wanted to be a farmhand and actually enjoyed his work from what it seemed. And then, of course, as later on it is stated that by Ozpin and Oscar himself that he wants to be more than that. So it's very strange, but he needs to really say what he wants to be, I think, for one. I think that's a big part of it, because a character, whenever they have a goal, that is a big thing that can really make someone enjoy said character, because maybe a person can relate through just the goal alone, and that's a good thing, because you want to be able to relate to characters. But if you can't find a way to relate to a character, or at least even enjoy a character, then typically you're just going to say, I don't care for said character. And Oscar seems to take this case. He seems to be a character that really isn't very interesting. And that's actually a problem, because when he was introduced, it really wasn't a whole lot. He was just introduced as a farmhand, seeming to be alright with what he was doing, and then Ozpin obviously just appears in his mind and tells him that they need to go forth, go to Haven, and stop what's about to happen at Haven. And of course, this really just seems like Oscar is really being shoehorned into the story so that Ozpin can continue to be relevant. And it's a bit of a problem, because on one side, I like the idea of Ozpin coming back through Oscar, and that's a good thing, and it's really going upon the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde story that Ozpin is based off of here. But the problem, on the other hand, is actually with Oscar, because if you don't give the character depth, if you don't give him a personality, and if you don't really establish his goals, if you don't establish the character at all, then the big problem is, once something dramatic were to happen to Oscar, say if Ozpin takes over his body completely and Oscar ceases to be, we're just saying what if here, then the problem here is there's not going to be a dramatic feel to Oscar disappearing or not existing anymore, or whatever may happen in this case. And you want to bring emotional toll to characters, because that is something that can draw you in, and it can make the story very huge when it comes to the loss of a character, because whenever a character is established and whenever they're brought in and they're done very well and people like said character, then when something dramatic happens to them, such as a death or anything to that effect or something similar, then this brings forth a strong emotional tone, and it could affect the characters around them and help them to develop. But with Oscar, if he is a character that is not developed, if he just stays the same, then if he were to have something happen to him, there's not going to be a feel there. It's just going to be, oh, well, this happened. Okay, well, bye, Oscar. Because he would be seen as nothing more than a character that was really just a vessel for Ozpin. And that's why you must give characters depth. That's why you must really work hard on them and make character arcs dedicated to these characters in some way or form. Give them passion. Give them motive. If you don't do these sort of things, then you're not going to feel for them. And it's just going to be that character was there, and it's not really going to affect anybody very much, unless you just so happen to like the character. Now, I want to give two examples. One of RWBY. And if you look at Ruby Rose, there is a big reason why people like her character. It's because she came in with good motive, with a good desire. Her goal is obviously to become a huntress, and that is important to her. As well as this, she had inspiration. Her mother, obviously, being inspiration to her because she was a huntress, and then the stories that Yang had told RWBY as a young girl. The fairy tales obviously inspired RWBY to want to grow up to be a huntress and to help people, which is a good thing, and people can relate to this. Not only this, but if you look at RWBY, and if you look at how she was very self-conscious, she was socially awkward, but at the same time, she had good humor, a very quirky personality, and things that were going for her in a witty direction, as well as being shown as a leader. We can look at her and see several different parts to her personality. There's a lot actually going for her character as of volumes 1 through 3, and despite the issues with volumes 4 and 5, of course, RWBY has still been a very good character back in volumes 1 through 3 that really established a liking to her character, that made you enjoy her character, and she even had some great fighting scenes that she's been in the first 3 volumes. So really, RWBY was established in a very good way, and people can sit here and say that these are reasons they like her. As well as this, another character I want to look at is Weiss, because Weiss herself came off as a character that some people did not like, because some people were not really a fan of the tsundere personality. Now, if you know one thing about tsunderes, they typically are cold towards individuals in the beginning, usually the protagonist character, and gradually over time, they open up, and they start to show a softer side, because they grow as characters, and they know that they can trust that individual more over time. And the thing about Weiss is that if you look at her, she had issues with her family that made her this way, that gave her these trust issues and made her have problems when it comes to being around other individuals that pushed her away from them, because she may have felt that they could have done the same. They could have hurt her as well, like her father did. And she has motive. She wanted to obviously be free of the issues she had been burdened with all of her life. The issues of having an alcoholic father, of him controlling her life. It makes sense as to why Weiss would want to break free. Not only this, but actually deliver a good name to the Schnee family and the Schnee Dust Company, because of her father being a bad person and really soiling a good name. So it shows you that Weiss has her motives and has her reasons for the way she is, but when you actually look at Oscar, Oscar doesn't really have these sort of things that really can define him. If you scratch under the layers of his personality, you won't find a whole lot. And yes, Oscar has been here for only really 2 volumes, and he wasn't really in volume 4 very much, but it still could have been a little bit more time to give him a little more of something, a little more of a push, but it really doesn't feel like that, and it feels like the concentration has been more on Ozpin than it has Oscar. Now, of course, we've seen Oscar try to fight back against Ozpin, trying to tell him to do things and have a bit of control, but at the same time, there's not really much to his character, and this is why he has such an issue right now. And some people just don't care for Oscar at the time being, because there just isn't this depth that he needs to have. And if you think about it, when characters really make a mark, it's either by their appearance from the first time they're seen, or it's their characteristics. And Oscar, to me, when I first saw him, it didn't really leave an impact to me. He just seemed kind of plain, and as time has gone on, he does seem very bland still, at least in my opinion. And if you like Oscar, that's fine. There is no issue with liking him, but I feel that these are huge issues that Oscar does present. Now, maybe this could change, and maybe he can become more than what seems like just a vessel for Ozpin, but we'll just have to see. But anyways, let me know what you think down below. Whether you agree or you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. But anyways, thank you all for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and if you did enjoy, hit the video with a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this informative or useful. Well, anyways, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful and fantastic day today, and remember, if today was not a good day, tomorrow can always be better. Take care of yourselves and everyone around you, and have yourselves a good one out there, everybody.